Here's an unknown spin-off to an unknown game series, namely the Legend of Valkyrie series by Namco. They were overhead action games, and in those games the main character Valkyrie had a green sidekick named Xandra, who is the star of this game, which I think is supposed to be a prequel. It's usually referred to online as Xandra with an X, but the Japanese writing doesn't really suggest it. I think they just wanted a unique name to put in their game lists. The game was released in Europe as Whirlo, and is a side-scrolling platformer. The graphics are pretty good for a game made as early as 1992, and it's drawn in a cute style, but as we know from The Matrix, appearances can be deceiving. First impressions of this game are good. As I said, the graphics are nice and cute. Xandra himself looks expressive, and it's fun to kill enemies with his pitchfork. You also have a set of special moves, like a down thrust and a kind of flying attack. You can also do a super jump and long jump. But it's not as simple as it looks. First of all, there are one-hit kills. And all of the aforementioned special moves have drawbacks which will lead you to death a lot of times. The down thrust can get you stuck in the ground, making you a sitting duck for enemies to walk into you while you wait for the animation to finish. The flying attack sometimes ends in mid-air where you get control back, and other times it doesn't. Then instead sees you losing control and landing with a thud, opening you up for enemy attacks again. The high jump is cool in theory, but to do it you have to stand still and charge it up, and the length of time you need to hold down the button for it is sometimes unclear. And while you do this jump you have no control of yourself, and for some reason you need to be walking before doing it. If you do it from a standstill you'll almost always not reach. The long jump is made by pressing the high jump button while running, but of course due to the one-hit kills you need to be very careful because you could end up jumping into an enemy. And one stage where you have to run away from a giant snowball, I did the long jump and Xandra tripped or something, and while he looked cute and dizzy, the snowball crushed him. The cuteness is also offset by the story, which surprisingly isn't so cheery. It starts with a volcano erupting, releasing an evil sorceress, and Xandra's village gets covered in ash, which gets people either buried alive or sick as a result. Xandra's son gets sick and he sets out to find 7 crystals needed to cure him. And when you get a game over, you see Xandra being surrounded by evil spirits that overtake him and turn him into a dark version of himself. Playing this game, it feels like it gives you exciting possibilities, then punishes you for using them. And it gets a bit disheartening, at least at first. You have 7 lives, which may seem like a lot, but you'll spend them fast. There are unlimited continues and a password system, but the amount of continues you used are stored and displayed, so that you can be reminded of your failures every time you boot the game up. Xandra no Daibouken is a game that proves that Namco had more strings on their bow than only Pac-Man and Tekken. It might be frustrating, but if you accept it as a challenge, you can get some enjoyment out of this, I think.